Hi guys, Blake here with Lilley's Landing Resort and Marina on beautiful Upper Lake Taneycomo. It is, I have no idea what day it is. Let's see. It is Thursday, December the 3rd. It's about 2:53 in the afternoon, and I'm going to do the one cast for you today. We got very cloudy skies today, very overcast. They're running 2 units of water. And I'm gonna drag some jerk baits today. I might even get crazy and try to drag 2 at once, but this is what I'm working with today. I've got my size 12 snap swivel holding my 1/8 ounce barrel weight there, a size 12 barrel swivel. I got about 2.5 foot a leader, and this little guy here is the 762 model, and that one is called the Nomad Shad. And I have boated up. I'm about halfway between Trophy Run and Lookout Point Island. Well, I'm probably a little closer to Lookout Island than I am to Trophy Run. And we're going to get it started. So I chose this area yesterday. I got to come in and go fishing for a little bit. It was about this time in the afternoon yesterday, and we actually drug from the island, or from the cable, all the way down past the Narrows, and we were dragging these little stick baits, and we actually did really good, and the bite was actually good from just a little bit below the cable all the way down to the Narrows. But I think I caught a few more fish from somewhere in this area, kind of down close to the Narrows, so I decided to start here. And this little Nomad Shad, this 762 model, was the one that caught the most fish yesterday. Did one drift and caught about, I don't know, 13 to 15 fish, somewhere in there. And so they were biting it pretty good yesterday. Of course, anytime I figure something out and then do it on the camera the next day, they never do the same thing twice. So we'll see if we can get any. Ooh, there was a bite. Get any takers. I know Phil was talking yesterday on the one cast about the difference in the feeling of it hitting the rocks and then a fish biting it. And those fish will oftentimes, it's a little bit lighter of a tap. But they'll, especially with the jerkbait, they kind of chase after it and they'll tap it a few times, but it's usually lighter and it's usually a little faster than the tick that you get across the bottom. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm fishing. Oh, there was one. Missed him. And the jerkbait kind of tags the bottom a little bit harder than if you're dragging flies across the bottom. But you do kind of get used to the way the rocks feel versus the way the fish feel. Fishing reports for today. It's a little bit colder today, not too many people on the water. Got a few locals out here. And we've got, I think, 2 boats out as of today. The Garrett family, they're out in a boat today, and they came back to the dock earlier and said that I'd set them up with some of these little jerk baits to drift. They drifted down around outside of the trophy area with them, and said the bite wasn't super hot, but that they caught a few apiece and caught a couple nice quality rainbows down there using this method. I passed another one of our locals out here. He's out enjoying the lake, and he said that he's been drifting the big red San Juan worms, the thick ones. He's using a fly rod, and he said that's what he's been having the most luck. Said he even caught a little brown. Oh, there was another one. Saw a bald eagle on my way up here. He was flying right over by Eagle Island. I noticed that it seems like the moss has moved around a little bit since the last time I fished. Yesterday I noticed that my jerkbait stayed clean from just a little bit below the cable all the way down to around the bend here, and then once I got around the bend down here it actually got mossy, whereas a couple weeks ago that area down there around the bend was not mossy, but up top was. So say this constant running water is moving moss around. Water quality is looking a little cleaner to me than a couple weeks ago. Looks like it's starting to clear up a little bit. I don't see nearly as much stuff floating coming through the turbines from Table Rock. And these colder nights should be moving the water temperature down pretty significantly. Trying to scoot myself out here towards the middle. Whenever I go through the section between Point Royale and Point Lookout Island, I like to, when I'm dragging my jerkbaits, I like to be just a little farther out here in the middle. For some reason, as this water swirls around in here, I usually pick up some fish kind of right here in this transition zone. Let's see, I get my boat going, and I think I'm gonna try to match Phil from yesterday, and I'm gonna throw two baits at once. So this little guy is called the Invader. This is a 606 model, and to me it kind of looks like a little, it's even got little carp scale patterns on it, and we do have a lot of sucker fish and creek chubs, and they kind of have a resemblance of that pattern on them. I've never used a jerkbait that looked like a carp, but I imagine with the number of them we have in here that it should work. This will probably get real messy on me real quick. Yeah, found the bottom with that one. Darn it. Alright, well, no more Nomad Shad, but I do have rigged up over here as well a lure that about a week and a half ago worked really well for me when I was dragging down this bluff one evening. This one's called the, oh no, the Violator. It's got violet tint that kind of fades down to a more silver tint, and that is also the 606 model. I'm gonna throw that one over there near the bluff, and I've got a fish on this rod now. Turn you guys a little bit there. And so this was that one I just said was called the Invader, and it kind of has a carp pattern to it. Man, this fish is fighting very good. There we go. It's right in the corner of the mouth. He does not like me one bit at all. There we go. Yeah, that's a healthy and long rainbow there. He is not happy with me one bit. I've got my other pole in a pole holder. If you set these things down just on the side of your boat while you're trying to work two rods at once, usually it gets hung up, of course, while you're doing something else, and then it gets pulled in the water and you lose a fishing rod. So if you put it in the pole holder, it tends to hold them pretty good. Oh, and I've got another fish on. Yep. Well, I had another fish on. Felt him shaking his head there. And we got two completely different colors here, and they seem to both be getting bites. Okay. So, let me get this one back in the water. I'm trying to imitate what I did the other day, or I guess a week or so ago. And that one called the Violator, I was using right along this bluff and caught two browns in a row. And so I'd like to see if we can pull a brown off of that bluff again. Yeah, and now this one's hung out. Got it back. This is pretty challenging here. Yeah, I love it when I get them back. Seems to be a little bit of moss pulling here. But ever since they cranked up and started running this good 2 units of water, this is a pretty effective method if you want to catch some fish and have a chance at catching a bigger fish, or trying to favor your odds towards catching a brown trout. They sure do like these jerk baits. And we have multiple models in the shop, and they all seem to work. I think the 606 and the 762 have been the best models that we have, that we carry, that has been working. But the 219s and the 639s also work pretty well. Ooh, I had a bite on that one. I'm getting some good bites on this little carp imitation here. I'm gonna have to come out here and try that one a little more. It looked like Phil was having way too much fun yesterday doing 2 rods at once, so I had to try my hand at it. I think technically here you can have 3 rods per person, but I couldn't even imagine trying to hold a 3rd one down here. I personally think that on a day like today with the cloud cover, that the lighter colors, kind of like that shad, seem to work a little bit better, but I think I managed to pop that loose without losing it. Definitely getting hung up a little bit more today than I was yesterday. I don't know if maybe the loose grass stuff is moving around more. But dragging these jerk baits is just like anything else. You want to keep playing around with your different color combinations and such until you find the one that's working the best. Ooh, that was a fish and I missed him. There's a fish. And I believe this one was on the Violator. Oh, that's another really beautiful, healthy fish. Set this one down in the rod holder here. There we go. And this is just, these two fish so far are just really good examples of the quality of fish that you can catch on these stick baits. Man, they are very feisty today. Wow. There's just another beautiful, beautiful rainbow. He is really trying to shake me. And there we go. Yeah. Trying to keep the boat lined up for this is a little tricky. Okay. There we go. And I'm drifting the inside, you know, this third of the lake over here. I'm probably 30 foot away from the bluff. And this is where I've been doing the best lately. When I come through here is kind of coming down the channel side through the channel. think that my... Oh. I think we're getting to that inside bend point where yesterday I started picking up a little more moss. Nope, no moss on that one. There was a bite. The other thing I would have thrown if I was out fishing today would definitely have been the big red San Juan worm. Either dragging it on a spin cast rod and a drift rig like the drift rig we're using now, or under an indicator on a fly rod. These are my favorite types of days to throw those San Juan worms. We've heard a few reports from John Johnson and Phil talking about how the red San Juan worm specifically this last week has been working a little better than per se the pink or the cerise. But we've got lots of different colors of these jerk baits in the shop. I think they'll all catch fish for the most part, but obviously each day they prefer a color a little bit different than another, so just keep switching them around or throw two rods at once and throw different colors. Figure out which one's working the best. Just about a perfect drift day. There's hardly any wind. I'm really not having to make much adjustment. Oh, I missed him. I did pick up some moss that time. Once you make it past that corner, the lake really starts pushing you towards the bluff. I think I've picked up moss on my other one now. Oh yeah, lots of moss. This is about the spot yesterday where that happened. I always have the theory that as the lake, you know, wherever your channel side is, wherever the faster water is pushing to, that it's always going to push a bigger collection of moss and leaves and sticks towards it. So if you're trying to actively avoid the stuff on the bottom, then I'd probably want to be on the other side of the lake over there drifting down the inside bend. I believe that a lot of the stuff gets pushed around to the outside bend. I think we'll go to We'll go to the narrows. Oh no. That one broke. It's funny, whenever I'm out here drifting these, you're gonna lose some rigs. But like yesterday, I used the exact same one the whole time and never lost one bait. And today, I've drifted for half the time and lost 2. So, some days you win and some days you lose. But I think I'll simmer down and go back to one bait here. Another thing to play around with while you're drifting these is the different model numbers. Like the 606 wiggles a little different than the 762 and the 639. They all have their own little action, and sometimes it's not so much about the color, but it's more about the way the bait works underneath the water that they like more. So there's some days I'll realize that one model works better than the other models, but caught more moss there. When you cast these, I kind of bring it back. I leave some room for it to dangle down below the rod. When you cast these, you kind of catapult them out there because that weight slides up and down. And if you try to zing it like you would a jig or something, then your weight stays real close and then the bait goes out there. So you kind of just bring it all back and then throw the whole weight of it forward. And you don't have to toss it very far. But that'll help cast. You really want that weight to stay as close to the bait as possible. Oh, there was a hit. The eagles are talking. Chance of precipitation today. Yeah, the other day they were calling for a chance of snow today. I don't think we're getting quite that cold. I do feel some mist starting here. Seen a few fish jumping since I've been out here. I don't know why, I don't know what it is, but it seems like last month I really haven't seen that many fish jumping out of the water like they normally do. But I have seen it today. Oh, hey. Unfortunately, I don't have a camera, but there's 2 bald eagles sitting side by side over here on the end of a sycamore tree here on Eagle Island. Looks like a male and a female. I cannot remember the eagle mating pattern, but I feel like this is the time of the year where that starts. Someone correct me on the comments. But there are definitely two bald eagles sitting side by side. Something I didn't mention on dragging these is that I only use 4 pound for my leader. I don't want to get it too big because I don't want the fish to see the line, number one. And number two, heavier line will affect the way the jerkbait wiggles. And I'm hoping that I can zoom this around here. I don't know if you can see that, but those are two really large bald eagles sitting right next to each other there. That was really cool. All right, well, we made it to the Narrows, and I think I'm gonna call it there. So we thank you guys for watching. Like and share us on Facebook, and we'll do it for you again tomorrow. Thanks, guys.